Alright, so I think I'm gonna start Lord of Shadows, but before I do, I wanted to show you guys this. So I ordered this off eBay, and like I open it, and I'm like, what the heck? And I realized that whoever like previously owned this, oh my gosh. This is so cool. Are these runes? I love it. This is so cool. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I was just saying whoever owned it previously, I guess put the dust jacket on wrong. So I'm just gonna put this in right. Oops. Let's see. Now listen, I don't ever read this. I just am actually gonna start it right now. It is currently May 17th, around 9 o'clock, and I am going to start this. This bad boy is around 700 pages. I think Lady Midnight is around the same page size amount, but it's big. It's one of Cassandra Clare's biggest, I guess, novels or trilogies, yeah, or series. Actually, obviously, her Moral Instrument series would be her biggest ones, but this one's a lot bigger than her like normal books. So yeah. So I am 100 pages into Lord of Shadows, and honestly, I missed reading Cassandra Clare. The last time I read her was when I read Lady Midnight, which is probably like last week. But since then, I've read so many books, and I never realized how much I appreciate Cassandra Clare and her characters and how much she like invests in writing them. And just reading her books is just so hectic that you never get tired of like trying to figure out like the characters and basically what their stories are. Like I remember reading the ACOTAR series, and it was just very like Farah related, and just the fact that it was in first person itself just took away from a lot of the other characters. But I love her books, and how they're in third person. It makes it so much better and like a lot easier. I just think that Lord of Shadows is just more of the character development. Nothing of the plot has happened, and I can sense that for these books it's the plot just is gonna occur per book, I guess, like the main plot. But the Emma and Julian thing, I think Emma did very well. Mark kind of, agreeing to the terms and everything made me love Mark so much, and how they're like helping each other through it is really cute. I feel so bad for Julian though, like he doesn't know anything, but obviously he can't. I also like Christina's like role and everything too, and Diego's that asshole for having a fiance, I guess. Kit and Ty have my heart. I want them together so bad, like in this book. I don't know if I'm like gonna get it in this book or not, but their like friendship or like their process of becoming friends is so adorable. I love it. But yeah, I can't wait to read more of this. I'm currently in the middle of chapter 6, I believe. Yeah, and so I have a little bit more until I get to chapter 7. I probably won't get through much tonight. I'm going to try to get to at least chapter 10 before I go to sleep. Probably more if I'm like, willing to read more. But I do really enjoy this book. Yeah. So Livy and Kit just kissed. And I'm just really confused because I thought Kit and Ty were a thing. But I guess not. I really want them to be together, but for some reason I'm getting really anxious about this relationship, and if they're not gonna get together, I'm gonna cry. honestly don't know how to feel about this. I really don't. I was like kind of happy because it's like, oh, Livy's doing something, because usually Livy doesn't really do anything in the book. So yeah. All right, so I am 15 chapters into the book now, and I read a lot in the past times. So I stopped at chapter 10 last night, and I read 5 chapters so far today, which isn't much, I can say. It didn't especially seem like a lot happened. I feel like a lot of it's like still the same. They just went through and rescued Kieran. So that's that. And the Seelie Queen also said that she has a way for Julian to break the parabatai bond, but I don't know what it is yet. I know I've read somewhere that like their parabatai bond could be broken, but everyone else's has to be broken as well. So I don't know if they're gonna like announce that sometime soon. Yeah. Also, I really kind of like the, this little scene between Kieran and Kit where Kit was like, I don't belong here, and Kieran was like, that makes 2 of us. I thought that was really cool. Overall, it's not really bad. I would say I guess almost halfway through the book. The book is about 700 pages, and I'm at 307, so I do have 400 more pages to go. But honestly, I feel like reading it has not been a hassle. I do find it like interesting to read. I don't find myself stopping like every now and then or wanting to stop. I remember reading Lady Midnight, and in the beginning chapters I was really reluctant to keep reading it because it was a lot of info dumping, especially for information that I already knew. And until Julian came, it was just very like just Emma focused, and I really like that. So I'm really excited to see like where the book will go. I feel like a lot can happen in this. I have so much like brewing in my mind about like everything that's happening, but I still don't know how to analyze everything yet. So I'm looking forward to it. I might go ahead and order Queen of Air and Darkness just so I have it on hand before I finish this, or just order it now so that like I'm not waiting too long for it to come in. I kind of don't know if I want to like wait, like order online or get it from the store. I don't know. So yeah, hopefully this read is not gonna take me too long. I have hopes I'm gonna either finish it in 2 or 3 days. So by the end of the week I'll have it finished, and then I guess I could wait a while before reading Queen of Air and Darkness because I do have 2 books on wait. So yeah, we shall see. I'm geeking over this because Christina finds like in the London Institute like so in Lord of Shadows, when Christina is like in the London Institute, she finds like an etching on the window that says JB plus LH, and I'm just crying because I know it's Jessie Blackthorne and Lucy Herondale. Like there's no one else. And God, that's so beautiful. I cannot wait for the rest of the Last Hour series to come out because I don't know how I can like wait this long. I honestly don't. Like I can sense like it's gonna be one of my favorite series, hands down. So yeah, I just had to say that. This moment between Kit and Ty is the cutest thing ever. I'm like the biggest fangirl. Actually, no, there's probably bigger fangirls, but it's so good. Like I'm like zooming through this book at this point. Like I started this I think 2 days ago, and I'm like so far in. I only have this much more to go. So it's like I'm 480 pages in, and honestly it's it's good. It's good. It's good. I don't know what that was just there. Mark, Christine, and Kieran. Okay, like, I thought it was gonna be weird, but I genuinely like it. Like, I really do. It's like a different type of dynamic. Like, if anyone else was doing it, I'd feel so uncomfortable. But because it's them, like, I don't know why I enjoy it so much. And I think it's because, like, I wouldn't want them to be with, like, anyone else. Like, as much as I liked Mark and Christina, I also liked Mark and Kieran. And I'm living for Kieran and Christina right now. I just want them all to be happy. And the Emma and Julian thing is a little slow, but I didn't expect it to be, like, you know, fast paced or anything, because, like, I don't want them to be, like, running into problems already. But God, I love Kit. Like, he's such a character that, like, I enjoy reading about, and it's because he's so different, like, from all the past Herondales. I feel like they all have, like, a track record of just being, like, them. You know what I'm saying? Like, actually, I do feel like James Herondale is different. I feel like if Kit was to be, like, anyone, like, of his family heritage, it would be James. He'd be most like James. And James is, like, very, very different. But I absolutely love Kit. And I love Ty. Like, Ty has my heart. The stories of Drew, they get to me, and it's because I, like, relate to her a lot. But I'm so scared that, like Drew is doing this one thing of, like, hiding Diego. I'm scared that it's gonna, like, backlash and they're gonna, like, not like her for that. And I hope that doesn't happen, because, like, the one time Drew is given, like, something, like, she's made, like, you know, she's, I guess, like, made a dent in the, she hasn't made a dent or anything, like, she's been doing nothing this whole time, and the one time she does something, I hope, like, it's for the good and not for the bad, you know? Like, I just feel like she's such a underrated character in this book, and I know that Cassandra Clare's, like, Wicked Powers is also featuring her, like, as a main character, and I am looking forward to that. But the thing is, like, I don't want Drew this whole book to be, like, unnoticed. Like, I want her to have a part in it. Like, I feel bad, like, reading about her and, like, her insecurities and just, like, having it go, like, unnoticed, you know? I don't know, like, what I particularly read in these last, like, 7 chapters. I read 2 chapters today. I read 2 chapters today. What else? I was on 15 last time I did, like, a follow-up review. And from 15 to 22, I have, like, I just feel like so much has happened, but I just can't, like, remember exactly what happened. It's kind of like I'm reading it and I'm just, like, going with the flow. Sometimes, like, when I take breaks in reading, I forget, like, other things happen, because this book is so hectic. And, oh, okay, I remember reading this and thinking, like, being able or having the knowledge of Chain of Gold in my head while reading this is amazing. Like, I, like, don't even think I would have gotten half the references in here if I hadn't read Chain of Gold, or, like, you know, obviously the other books. But like, most people read this before they read Chain of Gold, and I don't know how, like, they got so many of the things. Like, they talk about, like, the Chain of Gold characters, like, sporadically throughout the book. There's been many scenes of, like, Lucy and Jesse, you know what I'm saying? And, like, there was a picture Emma found of Cordelia, Matthew, James, Christopher, and Thomas. Like, they're all, like, how do you read this and not know it's them without reading, like, Chain of Gold? I love Chain of Gold, and I am so excited for the Last Hour series that I cannot, like, wait. I'm literally, like, I'm so fidgety over, like, everything, and I just want Chain of Gold, like, no, sorry, I just want the Last Hour series to be, like, done. Like, I don't regret reading the first installment like at all before like everything else. I'm so glad I did, because I feel like my experience with this book is so much different. And honestly, like I feel like if I was to go, like once Chain of Gold finishes and I go read this, I feel like it'd be another experience, because I'm sure like there's so much that happens in Chain of Gold that like, you know, affects this. And I'm reading this and there's so much backstory like regarding like Malcolm and just like why he is what he is. And I want to know if like Malcolm and Annabelle's time was like the generation of Chain of Gold, or if it's a generation after. I don't particularly know like what to like think of those, but I have so many predictions in my mind. I actually don't have many, but I just want to know like so much. Like I feel like she's gonna drop a bomb in the end of the book, and I don't know, man. I don't know. I just wanted to say how much I appreciate this book, and like I don't even know where to start. First of all, I'm literally living for Mark, Christina, and Kieran. Like, living. Whenever their, like, scenes come on, I'm, like, so, like, you know, same with Kit and Ty. Same with Emma and Juliet. Literally every single scene I read in this book, I'm, like, anticipating, okay? Anticipating. And there's only 7 more chapters left. But look how much 7 chapters is. That's a lot. But you know what? I'm glad. But I'm also not glad because I don't have Queen and Fairy Near Darkness, and I don't know what I'll do like once I'm finished this. It's so freaking good. And like usually when I read, I'm like really looking forward to like the plot thickening and everything around the plot. But in this, it's like the characters and the relationships that I'm like literally obsessing over. And she did a spectacular job with it in this book. I think this is her most like character involved book in like all of her other Shadowhunter series. Maybe Chain of Gold does have a bit more, but if I was to read it like in publication order, I would definitely like love the series for like its characters. I think the Shadowhunter, I think the Mortal Instruments had the best plot. Yeah, I feel like the Mortal Instruments had the best plot because it was developed over 6 books, so I'm hoping it had like a really good plot. It wasn't like a terrible plot. It was just like the first sort of like epic plot that could happen. So I mean like the Mortal Instruments, like, you know, I guess did a good job of like, you know, establishing the problem and taking care of it. I like the Infernal Devices had a really good romance. I feel like that was my favorite romance, and use of downworlders, I guess. Like, I mean, there are plenty of downworlders in this, but just Tessa being a warlock, I felt like made it a lot different. And I also did like the characters in that as well, but they weren't very like diverse, deep characters, whereas in this, like, they're very diverse and there's like different characters that have different, like, you know, things to them, which I really enjoy. And I like love this book. I didn't think I was gonna like this series, but I absolutely love this book. I want to read it forever, but I also have a paper to write, so I'm probably gonna stop reading it. But just like a lot of this book is amazing. I don't know how to explain it. It's just, it has a way of keeping me like involved, because it's like as soon as one story ends, like another person's story starts, and then you like get back to like the first story, and then you're like, oh my god, like I forgot that happened, and you read it and it ends like on a cliffhanger, and then another person's story starts. You're just like, whoa. So I am on chapter 25 of Lord of Shadows, and I don't want to stop reading, but it's 3 a.m. and I have to. But I'm so close to the end, and I'm so sad because I love reading like Cassandra Clare's books, I just love reading them. I don't know if I particularly enjoyed like the Mortal Instruments like this, but I just, everything that's going on, I miss it. Like, I miss reading like books like this, and I don't want it to end. And Queen of Air and Darkness is not going to come in for a long time, so I'm really not looking forward to it, like with the waiting. But tell me why, when Emma and Julian were like getting together, I was so scared that Magnus and Alec were gonna portal in the middle of them, because I remember Magnus portaling in when Tessa and Will were together, and so like I was worrying the entire time that I like was skimming through it just to see if they were gonna get interrupted, but they didn't. So I was like, oh, thank God, that'd be so awkward. But I read, I think, 2 chapters since I last did it. I'm not sure. Yeah. No, 1 chapter. No, 2 chapters. I read 2 chapters. But honestly, I kind of just want to finish it. I'm definitely going to be finishing this tomorrow. Maybe, maybe not. I have a paper still due on Friday that I haven't started yet. So once I finish the paper, I'll be finishing this book. But honestly, it's not that much if I don't finish it. I mean, either way, I gotta still wait for Queen of Air and Darkness. I can't read it. And honestly, I might reread like Chain of Gold after this if I have time. I do have a few library books I can still read. I have The Wicked Saints. I'm only on part 2 of 9, so I feel like I can get through that really fast. It's not really a romance book, it's more of like a fantasy book, so I don't know if I'll get through it as quickly as I normally would, but I have that, and then I have A Darker Shade of Magic. So maybe with those 2 and Chain of Gold, I can like, you know, surpass time until I get to the arrival of Queen of Air and Darkness. So, yeah. Oops. One kid. I'm just gonna read this interaction. I don't want to tell you not to go to the school manse if it's what you want, said Kit, but I would just say that it's always about people trying to protect you or knowing what's best for you, or thinking they do. Sometimes they just know they'd miss you. And Ty goes, Livy would miss me. And Kit goes, your whole family would miss you. I would miss you. Oh my gosh. I honestly... I just want to hug them and love them. And... oh, this book is so precious. Alright. So I just finished Lord of Shadows, and I'm like, okay, so I knew Livy was gonna die, okay, but just reading about it, it just made it so much worse. I just can't believe this book. Like, this was just not what I thought was gonna happen in this book, but I loved it. This was just such an amazing book, honestly. But yeah.